Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Steph
Hi.
again. How are you doing, Vero?
Hi.
How is
I'm
it?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good. So this is our new format this Saturdays, now in English, since 3 Saturdays now. I'm very happy to have you here, Vero. This is the second time
Thank
that
you.
you're on the show. The last time,
Yes,
I can remember very well, you were in Aguascalientes as you are right now, and I was in Austria back then.
I
And
was in Querétaro.
oh, you were
We're
okay.
dancing around the world. Yes.
Dancing around the world, exactly. Situation was very different, right? Most of the companies were shut down. Was lots of uncertainty in the industry, but now I think people have found their ways. Industry have found their ways. We have found how to do stuff and how to actually work
Mhm.
at some percentage productively, and that's what we want to talk today, right? How is the remote work today? Back then we talked about it, and
Mhm.
what do you think and what do we think about the future of remote work? Maybe the next 6 to 12 months.
Wonderful.
Very good. So I know that you have been continuing doing sessions with companies, sessions with private people. What has been your experience during the last 6 months since we had the first talk about this?
It's been quite a ride because everybody is learning. In this time, everybody is not just one group or the other. Everybody is learning something or is learning to work with people who weren't so close to technology. So, for example, I did a project with Promesa Educativa Mexico in Chihuahua, and we began this project in June. And when we began, we were expecting the kids to be back to school in September, and we were very innocent because that's not going to happen at least until next summer, I think. So we were pivoting many times because the law changed, the government changes whatever it was going on. So we had to be very flexible. We have to be very not just flexible, but you have to have a very high vision of what is going on, so you know what you're going to do or how you're going to pivot. You just don't pivot because to the right or to the left because you saw the next two steps. You have to vision the next 10 steps.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
And I'm sure the projects are going really, really successful.
Yes.
You have had a lot of knowledge into this field. I can remember very well that back then we were talking about the 3 don'ts, right? The 3 don'ts that you were explaining, things
Yes.
that we should not do. And back
Mhm.
then, most of it we didn't really know yet. But do you think that the 3 don'ts that you explained last time are still valid, or would you add something to it?
I think it's more than ever. It's July. It seems like every month we are different people. It's a different world, but you cannot assume that everyone is fluent in remote technology. Right now, many people do, and we are better at managing any Zoom or whatever you're using, uh, like Teams or whatever. But you cannot assume that everybody is, and I I hope that by now many people are more fluent. But if you are working with a groups that are not, for example, a group that in age they are more advanced, or someone that has not access to technology, you have to be patient. It's not as radical as it was in July, but it applies also today. And lack of trust, yes. Micromanagement, you cannot, as we were talking before, if by now everybody is tired, everybody is burned out, everybody has had a very hard journey, most of the people. So you cannot be we say in Spanish, it's bufándole en la nuca. You cannot be breathing in their necks and
Yeah.
expecting them to have a good result. And we will talk later, but I think right now your paying for results, not for time. So you cannot be micromanaging every minute of everyone in your company. You have to trust them. And yeah, if you have a good strategy of goals and a good communication, you will be fine by now. And it's the year is almost over. By now, you are about to go and step on the scale and see if you had a good year or not. So it's very important right now.
Interesting. Very good. So I agree. All three items that you mentioned back then still totally apply. We have made progress in most of them. I also agree, but there is still a long way to go. So if we go back to what we talked about last time regarding Muhlenberg's scale of remote organizations, I think at this point, we all know multiple companies and how it turned out for those companies. And we are also able to maybe say how many companies actually reached which level of integration. And for me, what came really clear in this 3 to 4 months since really in the automotive and manufacturing industry, the pace picked up. Fortunately, we are able to operate. We have the demand of the OEMs, right? We're still producing cars, which is good. I can see that the last two levels are very hard to achieve for the companies that didn't have any previous engagement with remote work, right? So they're really stuck. If they make a big push, they are really stuck into level 3, which is
being remote first or distributed.
Exactly. So they distributed, right? They do still have their policies. They did adjust to the policies. They have some people at home. They did do dashboards, right? They looked at the achievables and goals. So they made an actual effort to implement this during this 6 months on a very high pressure and high stakes, right? They didn't know if it was going to work, but they actually had to do it. But instead of seeing it as a penalty, they saw it as an opportunity and took it. But for them to get higher than level 3 or 4 is really tough. And specifically the companies that get to Nirvana, I think COVID couldn't be the main reason why you're now going into this level 5. What do you think about that? How did companies that previously had like an effort compared to companies that really did it out of need necessary?
Yeah, I love this slide. It's a very powerful slide. I love it the first time we saw it. Yes, I think most companies are in level 2 or 3, and you're right. People in 4 and 5 should have been done before COVID, because you have to have a mindset and the right culture to do that. Most people I can see it's in level 2 because of interruptions. It's very clear. And remember, we were talking about what was in this Black Friday. What most people bought was noise canceling headphones, or whatever it takes to be out of all the noise that is happening in the house. So I think it's level 2 or 3. 3 for the ones that were more technically advanced, but I think it's 2 or 3, and it's a very it's a very strong sprint in terms of growth, but it's not enough. It's not enough for most of people. If remember, we were talking about how many people want to go back. I think it's half of the people that say, I want to go back. I don't want to be at home anymore. The space is not adequate, or it's adequate, but I miss people. I want to see people or do the things that I did. So I think it's 2 or 3.
Awesome. I totally agree. What a great reflection. And it really is really very assertive regarding what happened over the last 6 months and where are we standing right now. So we are now in almost December, right? So most of us, if you would have asked us in March, how long will this take? We would have said, oh, by Christmas. By Christmas, we are back to normal, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not going to happen. And of course, the smarter people and the more intelligent people out there, like Bill Gates, and of course, the World Health Organization, they were always talking between 16 to 24 months. It's a reality, right?
Yes.
And we are now almost at half, which is good. So it's really positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's look at how has the technology evolved, right? How has the technology evolved? How has the systems evolved? How have we uh, actually embraced additional new functions or features in these specific technology parts?
Yeah. Well, for a consultant like me, and if, for my training sessions and all the workshops and such, Zoom was my best friend in
So,
this time, and it has changed over the months. And now you have very different and new features and whatever, as such as the breakout rooms, so you can mimic or be as close as you were when you were having your workshops live. So it's better, it's very different than it was before. Teams has changed too, so I think it was my most valuable tool, Zoom, or whatever video call I could get my hands on. And also, mm, maybe not, it was not technology, but I found a community, and I could get some activities that you can do on online, so the people feel engaged.
nice.
Because one of the most the biggest problems when you are facilitating a workshop or whatever meeting it is that people have their cameras turned off, or you don't know if anyone is listening or not, or you have to take a temperature of the room, and you have to do that with the cameras. So I came by with a lot of activities and whatever. For example, if we are talking, I know Stefan is looking at me and I'm looking at Stefan, but if we are 10 or 12 or 30, uh, if I said anyone has any question, and no one will ask, so I have to say, Stefan, do you have a question?
Nice.
Things like that.
Okay.
So I think it was obviously every video call and Google Sheets or Google whatever, because
Collaborate.
everybody, it's very easy for everybody. I know you can have a lot of uh, ideation tools, and also productivity tools. You have a ton. Yeah, you can have the one that it's better for you, from the Pomodoro technique to that your to-do list from Microsoft or whatever you have. But I think we have, by now, everybody has taken whatever was better for you. So you have taken the tool that is better for you and that you can afford also.
I totally agree, and it's really interesting what you say, because I really think that there are so many tools out there that everybody can find the tool that fits them the most,
Mhm.
right? And that's really the beauty of this. There's people that completely bought it to Teams, and there's other people that say no, Zoom is the golden holy grail, right? So I know that you're specifically on Zoom. What is your favorite feature now on this specific platform? What do you use a lot, and what do you think in 6 months ago, it was not there yet?
Breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms were the hit for me, because it was always better versus, well, not versus, but better and the others, and or the others better. And when you can break out the group, they have more time to talk. They have more. It's this they benefit more from that. So it's much better right now. There are a lot other little
Color.
things that are cute, but that is the most.
Very nice. And what I like most on Teams is definitely the together mode. So
Yeah.
whenever we have like let's say a virtual birthday party or a virtual meeting where we do recognition of people. At the end of the meeting, we try to do, instead of just like everybody turning on the cameras and everybody is in his own background and tries to put like the thumbs up, we do the together mode. So what Teams does is it basically cuts out your head and your shoulders and puts you in like an auditorium. So you're all next to each other, and it really feels nice, right? It is a sign of camaraderie. It is a sign of empathy and being together. And I think they did a great job with this together mode. We don't use it necessarily during the meetings, but then at the end of the meeting, we try to turn on this together mode and take the picture there that we then share on Yammer and this internal social media, which I think has also grown during this time. The internal company internal social media, and I think there is also some very nice tools where we now share a little bit more of the good stuff that's happening in the companies that we maybe not even, we wouldn't share it, or we wouldn't celebrate it in the way we are celebrating it now.
Right. And also it's kind of funny because if you had a picture book of your 2019, you can see pictures of people having cake or something like that.
Okay.
And now you have a picture of those pictures that are different than just the thumbs up picture.
Okay.
I like that.
I agree. We even learned how to applaud on a conference, right? Which is like this, right?
like deaf people.
Yeah, exactly, right. I can see that they have an advantage over us. So yeah,
yeah, they do.
At the end, I agree. This has been for me the main thing, and at the end, getting more comfortable with video, for sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that everybody is comfortable, not at all, right? But as you said, at least the people that are exposing, that are, and the main one or two active listeners, if they have turned on the video, it's very different for the person that is doing actually the presentation. So for the people that are comfortable with it, please turn on your cameras, right? Even if you're not there, because even if there's one or two cameras on, it's very different for the person that is actually presenting, and you as a facilitator should know, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's clear. And if you're really like, if you're doing something else in the background, and if you're really not paying attention, then it's even better to turn off the video, right? Because it distracts a lot as well.
Yes. Yes, I don't care if there are children in the back or a dog is barking. It's very normal. So we got into your house. We are in your house. We are the intruders. It's not the other way around.
Okay.
But the thing is, I was working with kids also in with the Municipio de San Pedro, and they said, Miss, it's very funny when they call me Miss. Miss, my camera is not working, and I was like, And then by mistake, someone turned on the camera, and he was laying down and doing other things, and they're kids. It's okay. It's normal. But you want to know if what I'm doing is having the effect that I need, so I have to pivot or whatever it's going on. So it's my profound respect to teachers right now, because it's a challenge.
Exactly.
It is a challenge.
Totally agree. So let's jump right into the funniest moment that you had in these 6 months on the call.
Oh, well, with the kids and then with adults. With the kids, we had a number of sessions prior to having a meeting with the mayor of San Pedro Garcia, and we were working with the kids and the ideas and narrowing what ideas they want to present and they want to continue. And there was a kid who was always talking about his teeth that was about to come down or come out. I don't know how to say in English, but yeah. And he was, well, my teeth today, my teeth, this and this, and the teeth and the teeth. And the day I talked to him and I said, honey, it's okay. Let's talk about the issues we have at hand, and then we can talk about your teeth and whatever. And the day of the meeting with the mayor, he said, my teeth is finally out. I have another teeth that no. So he's,
the story goes on.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it goes on. So it was very funny to talk to him, because he didn't mind that the mayor was there. And
Exactly.
when he said, please, we can go back to the issue, he used the chat. So he was talking about it all day long.
Okay.
And with older people, what happened? Well, sometimes when you work with, when you're working with people who are not used to technology, it's very funny because you can see the camera like this,
Nice.
or like this, and
Mr. Wilson, Mr.
yes. So you have, it's kind of funny, and you don't want to embarrass them, but you have to say, please take your camera down or do something.
5 fingers above your head. That's the rule.
Yeah, or I in my workshops, I tell people, if you like, you want to, and you're tired, because it's very tired to be seated on the kind of chairs like this. You know, and one some people were standing up, but I could, the part of them that I could see were their middle. So it was like, no.
You can turn up the camera.
Yeah. Go.
Nice.
No. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
Something funny happened to you in this time?
I must say, like just recently, we used to do lots of interactions, soft interactions, like go to baseball games as a leadership team, right, and brings together the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to bring that virtually. So I think it's a great, like we did a virtual cocktail, right? A virtual cocktail,
Like it.
and it was really nice. So I think it was like, one would think that using the same tools where you look at executive presentation and trying to be very fancy with the customer and everything, that when you take the same tool and apply it to an after work cocktail, it would be very stiff and very ordered, right? But at the end, it was very nice. It was really like a conversation that we used to have at a baseball game or at a dinner or at a, let's say, when we used to go to maybe do some off site, right? It was really relaxing and it was really funny. So I like that a lot, and I would recommend it to everybody. Like for me, it was a huge icebreaker. At the end, we talked about different things. We talked about stuff again that we would talk in those events, and we hadn't talked about it in 6 months. Of course, we talked about the situation of everybody being already very stressed out because of the kids, because of the school, specifically the moms, right? And trying to do the work at home, the homework, and then the kids. Mm-hmm. It's super tough. So we were sharing best practices. We were recommending the best restaurants where to buy the food and how they would arrive at home. And also something very interesting that people now, instead of like Amazon, Facebook Marketplace doing buying and selling stuff, now it's they call it the trackers, right? So you flip things, right? So what somebody has maybe a really easy stuff like maybe a mixer they don't need no more, right? But they need mm-hmm. 2 plates, and there is somebody that finds in those group, and they're doing now this interchanging of the stuff they don't need to the stuff that they need, and this is really something that came out of one of this cocktails that we had, the virtual cocktail. So really, We had virtual carne asada, we had
Wonderful.
virtual cocktails, and it's really awesome to see the family there, to see them in their garden, to see the people at their home, but not in their office or in the living room where they're taking the sessions, but in their gardens.
Yes. Yes.
Not trying to be fancy about it, but really trying to get into this emotional portion of the team,
I
and
like
that's
that
been
too.
really something interesting. And of course, funny stuff happens there, right? So you all of a sudden you see this, and then of course people make fun because they can see, I don't know, somebody has like this America's football club here on the wall, and then they make fun about them. So it brings in different. You typically try to hide when you're talking to a customer, right? But it brings out the whole facet. So I really like that, and it of course it is funny if you do a virtual carne asada. You can imagine.
I will try that. I like that. Yes. That's
Virtual
nice.
cocktail
I
or
like that.
virtual carne asada, both work very well. So we sent the package of carnes to the people, and then we did like the carne asada, everybody at the same time at home. That was the idea that we had.
I like that. Yes. Yes. It's a very nice activity to do. Yeah.
Very good. So let's look a little bit into the future. We have
Hmm.
now another 5 to 10 minutes. Um,
Okay.
let's look a little bit into the future and see. And we talked about it after the next 6 or 8 or 10 months, and everybody's unable to be working as they used to work a year ago. What do you think? How many companies are going to go back completely to what they had, and how many companies will update their policies and will update their leadership strategies and will update their communication to be able to enable for certain people and certain
Hmm.
specific tasks the remote work?
Yes. I think I don't think anyone will be back to how it was before. I think everybody will have an impact. Some people a deep impact, and some other don't, because like we were talking, if you are working on a building or something like that, a building, I mean constructing
Yeah,
and
construction work.
everything, you can do that online.
Mm.
But every function that you have that can be done online, I think it has the possibility to be done like that. But you have to consider not just technology, but because technology will be one of the lines, or the I talked to you, one of the threads that we are pulling. It's that, for example, in terms of technology, we need better technology in at home, because everybody is competing for the broadband with your children or your spouse or your mates or whoever. And also, it's not as your the security of your technology is not the same at home than at the office or whatever facility you were working. And also, your computer, your headphones, and everything you have, you will decide if that is the employee's responsibility to buy or yours, and how do you decide what. Nothing has been said yet, but it will be said soon. And also, we talked about policies will change a lot,
Mm.
because if you go with the law says it's the measurement, it's in time. But we are now talking about goals and results and everything, so it's not the same. And if you are working at home, there is no way to say if the time is the best way to do that. Also, there are some laws like the disconnection right. I don't know if that is in English, but
Yeah,
you have the right to be out of the network after this hour, because many people are burnt out. That is a fact.
I heard that.
And also, I think some people, for example, young mothers with young children, who who are more inclined to being home, to being home office versus going back. I think some groups will like that better, but many people want to go back to the office, and at least in I go to the office 2 days in a week or something like that. A plan. I think it will be like that because we need for creativity and for the networking is very useful. So, for example, when prior to pandemia, we were if you had a team member in another city that was far away from the others, you always wanted a team building to bring them back and everything. So it's the same. It's the same need. And I think the people who were far away, or the foreigners, if you want to say that, now are the see what I what I was living.
Now you feel the pain. Now
Now you feel the pain that I felt. Yeah.
yeah, now you need to do a team building. Everybody is in the same city, right?
Yes.
I agree.
So you need that, and also I think we need to start. It's a kind of funny thing, but everybody is kind of holding, and in Spanish you say aguantando, like,
Mm.
hold it, it will be over soon, it will be over soon, and it's not over soon. So we need to start planning, thinking that this is going to be this way.
Okay.
And the minute we do that, our mindset changes. And whatever we don't have, remember we talked that in the beginning we were like, I hope this wasn't happening, I hope this wasn't happening, and we don't get anything about by complaining and everything. So what we can do is, what can we do with the time we have, with the resources we have? So if we can plan with that, also you mentioned the people are more engaged with their companies.
Definitely.
So it's a moment to I forgot the word. I'm sorry. Aprovechar. It's a moment that,
Take advantage of it, right?
yeah, you have to make some of it. It's an advantage. So you have to take both moments and make something very good about this. And this is the perfect moment because it's December. People are trying to forget 2020. I know it's not a magical that in the 31st it's going to end, but we can begin to plan and project and ambition what will 2021 bring.
Nice. That's a beautiful ending to the thought process, right? And it's true. Some of us we did a lot of planning in April. We did a lot of planning in May. We took online courses with the IMS and with this, and we did all the technology things, right? And now we kind of stalled, like stalled when you stay on the same level for some time.
Yes,
Some
yes.
of the systems continue to improve, as we just said, right? Zoom and Teams and everybody. But I think it's true. We need to get into this next level of planning and next level of
Mhm.
uh, deploying tactics and actions and strategies for 2021. That's really a nice takeaway. And I'm seeing that Matthias Bertoni, he's sharing. I really appreciate it. And Vero, really, thank you very much. He's sharing what we say here, because I do believe that sharing is really key right now. And if we share what we are planning to do between the peer groups and the companies, it's going to be very powerful. We can do a lot with the opportunity that we are given, and I still think it's a big opportunity.
Yes.
Very nice. So we came to an end. The time flew by as always. Um, we are going into the final section, which is a new one since a month and a half now. It's
Okay.
called One Link at One Book and the Like. So you're already looking at the sheet where you have your
Yes,
accordion. So go
it's
ahead.
my cheat sheet.
What do you recommend that we should look at from a page, a web page, whatever, a book that you have recently read or that you've been recommended, and somebody that you like to follow that puts out content regarding how to continue to engage people in remote work?
Okay. Well, one of the things that we have been talking about, it's how the structure of every company is going to change, because we are not going to see each other as often as we did, but also everyone kind of drift out, nos separamos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the books,
Hierarchy is flattered.
yes, hierarchy is flattening.
Yeah,
So yes, as a leader, it doesn't matter if you're a temporary leader or a permanent leader. You have to be an influence or an influencer. And I like I was in the forum of ERIAC in Monterrey. It was a virtual forum, and they brought Carolina Borrachia. It sounds very funny in Spanish, but I can write it down for you. And she had a very a good talk, and she talked about how we connect, maybe by LinkedIn, but I think we can do by, for example, you were saying in the carnes asadas, but also you can work with your people in another networks, and by example or some other resources that you need, but you have to because you are not very close to them physically, so you have to trust again, and that trust comes from they believe in you, so you have to work on that. And the other, it's a Team of Teams. It's a book. It's
nice.
a very nice book, and the very interesting thing is that it was written by someone who changed how the military structure was in the U.S. And it's a very difficult. I think that it's a very difficult structure to change. So it's very interesting. And the where a link where I get information, it's, I don't know if you know the Inc magazine, INC magazine. It's an American magazine, and I find most trends or most interesting trends there, and that is a very good source of for you to vision what is going on or what will go on in some months.
Very good. Awesome. Very interesting. So Juan Carlos just commented something. So he wants to know our opinion about how to lead a team and focus on goals working in distance. How can a leader maintain a good level of communication and feels its team when we have worked a lot in development skills? So for me, and I want to answer this, for me, the key thing is that we leaders, we need to focus on the what, not on the how, right? The team is going to figure out the how. How often we want to tell them how to do it, and then even be unhappy with the outcome, right? Instead of focusing on the outcome and on the what and what needs to be achieved, what is that needs to be done, right? Instead of the how and which tool to use and which template to use, right? So I feel that that's something that we need to completely give up, right? And it has to do with ego, right? And that has to do with not thinking that one knows everything the best. So that's something that's key, and that's not only key for remote work. That's crucially key for remote work, but in general for a culture of accountability and focusing on goals. And regarding communication, I would really recommend everybody to use all channels, to use the virtual meetings, to continue to use mail, to continue to use text, to continue to use WhatsApp video calls, right? If you want to talk about a personal item, somebody gets COVID, don't use the Teams meeting, right? Just make a WhatsApp call, right? And it's real,
Yes.
right? So you have all these opportunities and all these channels, and you will be able to communicate every aspect of what you used to do at the plant, also remotely. So that's my take. I don't know if you want to add something.
Yes, I think it's wonderful. And building on that, I will say, since you're apart, you need something to some common ground. So I don't have a team right now, but I collaborate with a lot of consultants in different projects, and we're moving. And sometimes if you are the leader of the project, it's a different dynamic, but what I like to do is I call them, or I have a video when we have a meeting in the beginning or in the end. It's how are you? It's a very simple thing.
How are you
It's
feeling? How
very how are you? And if, for example, one of them said, I don't, he didn't had COVID, but he said, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm having the flu or something. And he wasn't at home, and he was because of COVID and whatever, and he was by himself. So I mailed a package of Vaporub and some cold syrup, cough syrup, and what the take
Chicken,
care
chicken soup.
chicken soup, or well, in Mexico it's not chicken soup. We live more in Vaporub, but
Okay,
whatever, a package, a take care package,
nice.
and without saying, you send that, and it makes a very different, that kind of details makes a different dynamic. And sometimes it's just, tell me how is your dog, because the last time you saw their dog or something,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
you build another kind of relationship. Also, what Stefan said about goals, you have to be uh, very careful with the balance of micromanagement and going and following and keep track of the goals. Yes.
I agree. That's totally true. But if you focus on the what needs to be
Yes.
achieved, it's not going to be that difficult. Like the people, what they don't
Yes.
like is if you follow up on the how, right? You click this button. Like how often in the meeting, like now click this
Oh,
button, close this window, right? And it's really interesting because somebody, you're very desperate, right? You're seeing the stuff on the screen, and the person maybe
yes.
doesn't do it exactly the way that you think or you would do it, or you think it's the best. But then you actually, if you actively look at it, you can actually learn something because maybe the person knows a shortcut. Right? So
Yes.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think Juan Carlos says that he also liked the talk. Juan Carlos,
Hi, Juan
congratulations on
Carlos.
your new job. He has found a new job now months ago, so I'm very happy for him at the Sigma Group. And yeah,
Eh,
exactly. Yeah, Juan
eh,
Carlos. Uh, Very good. So thank you very much, Very, as always. This was awesome. This was a very nice talk. I always really admire what you do regarding
Thank you for
facilitating
having me.
the teams that you have built and the knowledge that you have built around this topic, and how to combine a culture with remote techniques, with creation, with ideation. I think it's really, really awesome. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Very good. See you
Bye
next.
bye.
Bye, everybody.